Well, we've finally got a brand new autofocus lens from Brightin Star, a 35mm f1.8. Currently testing it on my A7 III wide open, as you can read, and I've got the nice little funky Lark M2S mic that I'm also testing this month. There's a lot going on, frankly, so if I look tired, I do apologize. Now we're going to test the autofocus a little bit by jumping in and out of the frame. It's an STM focus motor, so we're not expecting too much, but my A7 III, it does like to perform rather well these days. I mean, yeah, do love the box, and that is absolutely helping the focus. Anyway, we're going to look at this thing up close and see if it is a budget bargain lens for full frame. Yeah. Let's crack on. Okie dokie, so we have the QC, the warranty and the manual. As always, if you've had any issues or even positive thoughts regarding the quality control and the warranty with this brand, please let us know. It's all part of the consumer experience that we're interested in. You don't want to be laying down your hard-earned money, even at a budget level, for something that's not backed up. That's quite interesting. Right. All metal, I believe. Dust and splash proof. USB-C on the bottom there. Snap cap. Initial thoughts is it feels okay. I'm a bit confused how I feel about it. AF MF switch is fine. Function button feels okay. Annoyingly, it's a declicked aperture ring, and there's not. Well, there's a hard stop to get into the A mode. So 1.8 to 16, then a hard stop. That's fair enough. Manual focus ring, it's okay, stiff-ish, relatively smooth. 40 centimeters minimum, focusing on a 35mm lens. Okay, so we've got a 62mm filter thread. We've got 11 diaphragm blades, 11 elements in 8 groups. Just pop it on my A7 III, he says, so we can get an idea of the size. Not too bad, looks okay. STM focus motor, that could be a limiting factor, though even my 7 III being quite old, even performance is generally pretty good, so we'll see how we get on with that. The lens itself weighs about 420 grams. That is basically all we need to say. There's a quick unboxing on first look. Their setup is actually very, very decent. I mean, look at that foam there. As I say, let us know how you get on with the warranty and stuff, but yeah, let's just get out and shoot. Almost 600 test shots later, how do I feel about the build and the handling? Well, it's clearly somewhat large and heavy for what it is, but overall it handles pretty well and sits just fine on my A7 III. Both rings work well, though, as always, I'd have preferred a clicked aperture ring. At least the turn into the A mode is very sure. You shouldn't be rolling into that by accident. The AF, MF switch and the FN button both feel really good too. Autofocus is much snappier in stills than movie shooting, and overall it's where I expected it to be at this budget. Sharpness is pretty good overall. In the center wide open, it's actually decent. Corners a bit soft, but there you go. Color rendering could be better, and contrast actually quite good. The best overall performance is around f4. There is very minor chromatic aberration up until around f2.8. Also, barrel distortion is noticeable but acceptable. Vignetting, wide open, present, right up to f4 to some degree. Flare is problematic, but in backlighting, the lens actually holds contrast well. Bokeh, good, not distracting, not particularly pretty either. The lens has got a certain character, a certain imperfection that actually could be appealing to some portrait shooters out there. The lens then is going for £175 on Brightin Star's UK website at the time of recording. So is it worth it? Well, if you consider that the nearest direct equivalent is a 7 Artisans 35-1.8 that costs £100 more, then yes, this is good value for the money. The other f1.8 35mm lenses out there don't have aperture rings. Yes, some are smaller and lighter, some perform better, but if you must have an aperture ring and let's just say fairly decent performance on a budget, this could be the one. There was a Viltrox which was possibly a bit closer to the price of this one if I recall correctly, but that's discontinued, so unless you go second hand, stick to this one. Of course, if you don't need the aperture ring, there's plenty to choose from. So what's your go-to 35mm lens? Let us know in the comments and I'll see you there.